Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a little while since I've done the craft with me process videos working with the Gypsy Rose kit. I had done a couple whilst I was going on holiday to kind of upload whilst I was away, and then since I've been back I've kind of been busy with other things and haven't really kind of had much time to really focus and kind of get back stuck in. So I've been doing kind of standalone projects. So hopefully now I'm going to be able to get back to my kind of semi-routine that often feels super chaotic, but hopefully be able to get back to my kind of normality anyway, and yeah, hopefully kind of get back to filming my series and kind of doing things more on a kind of, you know, normal basis. So if you followed along previously, this is my Gypsy Rose kit that you know, I kind of published a few weeks ago. It seems like ages ago now. It was before the summer. It's a massive kit. If I recall, I think it has something like 145 you know, individual elements. So these are just a little sample of some that I have, you know, been busy fussy cutting out. It's obviously a digital kit, and these are just some of the elements that I have fussy cut ready for playing and kind of coming along doing this little video. So that's a few of the smaller items. It came obviously with a lot of larger pieces as well, so that's some of those. So what I started doing was an altered book. So this is it. I haven't been gluing things in yet, but I might glue a couple of things in today. And I have just layered up a little kind of arrangement here that I thought I would crack on with. So I've just layered it up slightly, and I'm going to glue it all down into place in a moment. But just so that, you know, I've kind of got a head start to know what we're doing. Because it takes a while to get back into things. I've been really busy with kind of other projects, and I seem to have lots of things all on the go at once. And yeah, I find that a little bit chaotic to do. So crack on now. This is one of my little fold outs. If you watched my tutorial, this is one a bit like that. But obviously this is using the paper from the kit rather than a 12 by 12 sheet, which is how I did the ones in the tutorial. So obviously the measurements are slightly different. I just eyeballed it, so I can't actually tell you what the measurements were, but I just kind of judged it by eye. I haven't got a great deal to play with. There's not a great deal there tucking in. But you know, we'll kind of do that in a moment. So what we'll do first of all, we'll work on this one, and then we'll kind of finish this one off and see how it goes. If by chance there wasn't kind of quite enough to actually tuck in, it's not a problem, because we could always create a little paper clip or, you know, a tie or something like that to secure it. But we'll work on this in a moment. So the first piece that I've got here, I've got this you know, one of these larger pieces here, and I've just layered up some elements. So here I've got some kind of yellow coloured doily, which I thought, let's get gluing down. So, oops, just knocked my hot glue over. So, and again, right, I'm going to glue this down in the first instance, or I will if my glue is going to play. Let me just unblock it here. Hold on. I had kept the lid on, but sometimes it does block up anyway. Oops, here we go. So I'm just going to glue this little section of doily down, and I want it to kind of look poking out from here. So I'm just going to pop that down on there. And then what I've got here is one of the larger pieces, and I thought what we'll do, we'll pop this little kind of banner across the top, and what we could do is just kind of glue it either side, so it is actually a little kind of belly band, that's the word. So I'm just going to kind of glue it either end. I just use my wet glue for this, like that. So I hope everyone's having a good day. I've been at work this morning. I've swapped my days this week because there was something I needed to go in for. So I'm now yeah, doing different days this week. So that's thrown me also a little bit. So we'll pop this one down like that. Just a little kind of rosebud there. And then these are a couple of the little rosebuds here. I'm just going to stick this smaller one down like this. Some of these have been printed onto coffee dyed card, and others have been printed onto plain card, but I have actually distress inked all the pieces that we're working with just in advance, you know, so you're not having to watch kind of really mundane things going on. So that's that, and I've obviously inked up this piece itself. And then here I thought we'll just have a little piece of lace going across just at an angle on the bottom. So I'll just cut that like that. And just literally glue that down here. Like that. And then obviously it wouldn't be quite complete without a piece of diamante there, so I don't want it going the full length of the lace. We'll just cut it slightly smaller there. Like that. Super pretty. And then I'm just going to literally glue this down onto this page, so we will get gluing some bits and bobs down. So I'm going to have it as a kind of corner tuck, so I'm just going to kind of add the wet glue here, just pop a bit on there. You might as well just pop a bit there. And we're just going to pop that down just there in the corner, like that. Okay. Looks pretty. And then we could have a little bow kind of here in the corner as well. I do love bows. Always think they look very pretty. So I'll just hot glue that one down. Like that. Oops. There we go. So that looks pretty. Now, what I will do is I will just move this off to the side slightly so we can kind of focus on this little folding kind of booklet. So I'll move that out of the way. In fact, I won't move it quite so far out of the way. So this is quite long, obviously, for this page, so I don't necessarily want it the full length of the page. So what I'm going to do is just trim it down slightly. So I'm just going to trim it here and then again on this edge here. Oops. Like that. And we'll see if that looks a bit of a better length. I mean, I think that does. I might not necessarily want it on the blue page, so we'll just kind of flick through and find the page that we would want it on, so we can decide which way round we'd like it to go. So possibly here, I'm thinking. Yeah, possibly here. So what I'm going to do is, in the first instance, I'm going to glue these two ends down. If you followed along with my tutorial, you might recall that we kind of glue these ends down so that we've got a tuck-in flap. So I'm just going to take my wet glue and glue those two ends like that. Please excuse the state of my hands again. I have been doing an awful lot of coffee dye in the last few days, so I'm very covered in glue, in coffee stain, I'm afraid, and it just doesn't really come off for a couple of days. So I only did some this morning, in fact, just before I left for work, just because I had a little bit of time to kill, and I thought, oh, I'll use that time doing that. So oops. There we go. So I don't know whether you can see that very clearly on the camera, but I'm very close to my fold because this is an A4 sheet of paper, and obviously I did just eyeball it, so I could have done with making it slightly narrower. But hopefully it is enough to actually, you know, tuck it in and hold it. But if it's not, I mean, it is, to be honest. But what we could also do is kind of extend it slightly by kind of popping something on there. So obviously with the kit, there's various different embellishments and little kind of pieces. So what we could do is kind of find a little piece that's just right and kind of glue it on, and that would obviously, you know, enlarge this and just make it kind of that much bigger for our piece to tuck in. So I mean, I quite like that there. So what I might do is actually kind of glue this down so that it's kind of not moving anymore. So I'm going to glue it down like this, and then it's going to open out like that. So just going to glue it here like that, down this long side, so not the side with the flap, and here like that. So, and then I just pop it literally onto the page like that. Now I've got to press it down like that. Obviously some of my glue is now seeping out, but not too badly. So like that. And I mean, as you can see, this is tucked in perfectly fine, but just for kind of a bit of extra kind of stability, what we could do is kind of enlarge this further with this. So I think we'll do that, but just before I stick that on, we'll just have a look and see if we want to decorate this, because, you know, I love decorating. So in order to kind of make sure that we're not going to be kind of doing things that then wouldn't look right together, we'll just kind of, you know, see how we're going to kind of decorate it. So obviously I have various elements that are all kind of here in the kit. I love these clocks, just really, really love them. And I love this picture actually also. So let's have a look. And we've got a little suitcase. And we've got that little oval. So we'll just start with this little variety of things here and kind of see what we might like. We're just literally playing around, seeing what might look good here. Oops. I mean, I think that looks quite nice just like that, to be honest. Yeah, I quite like that. So I'm just going to literally run some glue straight down the middle of here, because it looks like it had an overhang either side. We'll just pop that down there like that. Press that down, make sure it's stuck well. And then here we'll just pop these two on. And as I say, I have inked all these little elements up previously, or they have been printed on coffee dyed, or they've been printed on coffee dyed and inked up. So here I've got a little rosebud. Just pop that on there. Like that. Now, if I'm going to have this kind of opposite this piece, I'll just move these little pieces out of the way, then, you know, I'm just wondering whether we wanted to incorporate any blue lace anywhere. No, probably not. I'm not over keen on the blue lace necessarily on this piece, but we could have it like that. And then what we'll do is just tuck in something here, just as a little journaling card. So in the kit, there's these little postcards with a kind of vintage image from a book on them. And then I'm just going to ink them up. Now, if you watched, actually, I'm not sure I have uploaded the previous video yet that I did, so I'm probably just waffling about nothing. But to cut a long story short, I have a new ink pad here. So every time I use it, I'm kind of dabbing it off on this book page first because it's very juicy. You know, and it comes out very, very, very dark, obviously, because it's new. So I'm just kind of dabbing it off before I actually kind of apply it to my pieces. So that can just go in there. Love that. Really cute. And then I'm just kind of waiting for this to dry before I can demonstrate its opening, because obviously, you know, I have only just glued it down. And then what we can do is obviously kind of here, just pop another journaling card in the side. So this one's just been distress inked and coffee dyed, so that can just go in like that. So on this page, we could have this, we could have it kind of in the centre as a kind of tuck spot, or we could have it down here, or we might want to swap it out with one of the other pieces that we've made on a different day. So I'm just kind of flicking through because it's hard to recall what other pieces I have made. So I mean, we could have it facing this one. It's quite nice, actually. Yeah, I quite like that. I think I was going to do a little thumb hole at the top, and obviously I've never got round to that. So I think I've got my circle punch here, so let me just grab it. Or maybe I haven't. Oh yes, I have. So here I'm just going to do a little circle in the top, like a little thumb hole. Just want that roughly in the middle. Hopefully that's in the middle. Okay, it's a bit off, but never mind. Just going to trim that down slightly now. Like that. So I think that looks really pretty now. And then what we'll do, we will glue this on. So it's obviously, it's a pocket at the top. And then what we'll do is make it a pocket here in the side as well. So in order to do that, we'll just glue it down here along the side, here along this side, and then here along the top, around that thumb hole, and along there, like that. Just pop that down like this. Okay. So like that. And then again, we can obviously pop things in the side and obviously here in the top. So, you know, like that. Now hopefully this is kind of drying nicely. So if I take out this little journaling card, obviously this then unpops, and then, oops, I glued it down, like that, and you've got your journaling space there. And obviously, you know, you could stick kind of pictures there, or you could journal kind of in a different colour pen on there as well. So that's that, and obviously that's one of the little fold outs that we did the demo of the other day. So that's that. Okay, so let me just check how we're doing for time. Up to 19 minutes, so we're doing pretty well. So what I thought we could do is, I've just got one more piece here that I've kind of just layered some bits up that I thought might look quite nice together, so that we can kind of get gluing some bits straight on rather than kind of muck about too much. So just wondering which colour page to glue this on, because if you've actually kind of followed along with this, I have painted a few different colour pages, the very pale blue, some ivory, and this kind of lovely sage green colour, which I just think look really nice with the kit. So just need to kind of balance that down. Just while we're kind of playing around. So if I wanted to have kind of a bit of ivory lace there, that might look quite nice. So I'll just pop this on. I mean, as I say, I quite often just make the embellishment pieces and what have you first before gluing any down. But it's nice to mix it up sometimes, and sometimes, you know, it helps with kind of the journal coming together or inspiration actually by gluing some pieces down, oops, into the journal. So and because I haven't obviously worked on this one for a few weeks, it's kind of nice to glue some down, because obviously I'd kind of now forgotten really kind of, you know, what my original plans were and what I had made so far. So it's quite nice just getting stuck straight in to gluing things down straight away onto the page. So yeah, definitely kind of in this instance I'm finding that helpful to do. And then I've actually got a little flower that we could have somewhere. Or we could just have the flower at the bottom. I have got a big gem here, which, I mean, I just kind of brought this along. I don't know whether it would look good or not really, but I love these gems. I've only ever seen them twice. They were kind of on a string of different coloured gems, and yeah, I managed to get them twice, and then the shop don't seem to have ever had them again. So I just really like them. We could have a bit of the diamante here, and again, I mean, we could have a little rosebud. I have plenty that I've obviously cut out already. So what I'll do is I'm going to glue this down, and I'm going to kind of glue it just as a little corner tuck. Just do it slightly off to the side so as it's not dead square. And then here I've got a little suitcase, or, you know, vintage trunk there. Kind of pop the lace on in the trunk in the corner, so I quite like that, like that. And just stick the suitcase on. Actually, what I might do is stick it on with the hot glue, because it's obviously sticking onto the lace. It will then just be a bit quicker to kind of pop it on. So, and I'm not going to press it too much, because it might be quite nice to have that slightly raised effect, which I think we've done that before in this journal, to kind of just, you know, make them stand out slightly more. Now this little rosebud I thought looks quite cute, so we might have that kind of somewhere, either on the trunk or kind of over here to the side, up here in the corner. But I will just ink this up, just so it's nicely matching the journal itself. Oops. So there, I just caught it when I was trying to dab it, and if you can see, it's very dark. You know, when the ink pad's new, it's very juicy. Sometimes they're juicier than others, but this one does seem particularly so. Not that I should complain, because I mean, obviously, hopefully that means it's going to last a bit longer, but now, I do really love this gem. Now, whether I can bring myself to use it or not, because obviously, as I can't seem to buy them anymore, there's a tendency now to want to hoard that and not actually use it. So Yes, might have to take that away and just kind of build up to it slowly. Right, cut that off, and then we could just have a bit of lace trim, or a bit of the diamante down there under the thing. So I'm going to stick this one down with the wet glue. Like that. Just dab it off with the tissue. I did also bring some other ribbons and flowers and bows and things. So just before I stick that diamante, I wonder whether it might look better with that little flower. I do always love the bows, I just really love them. I will see if I've got any smaller ones here though, just before. I have got these little green polka dot ones that I made the other day. I don't know whether they're totally the wrong colour. Let's have a look. Not too bad actually. Perhaps we'll have it like that instead. So what I like to do, I've done this loads of times, so you're probably sick of hearing me, hold it by what I call the legs, and then I generally always hot glue these down. You know, because they're a kind of bulkier embellishment. Occasionally I have to wet glue them if I'm kind of doing a process video or something and haven't got my glue gun, but I generally like using the hot glue for them really. Okay, now you see this is where I always kind of come to the whole more is more thing with the crafting, is because I put things on, I take them away, and I always think they do look better. They do look better on, so yes, I might have to do that. But obviously this is in fact a tuck spot, so I don't want to actually kind of glue it down. So I'm going to just kind of glue that like that, but be careful and kind of glue it onto the ticket itself, not onto the book page, hopefully, so that it does still lift to act as a little tuck. So yep, like that. Okay, so I quite like how that looks, and it's just kind of small enough to just be you know, leaving plenty of room onto the page. Now I'll just check the time. Okay, so what we could do is kind of attempt to make one more thing just quickly now. Let's have a look. So what we could do is use one of these pieces. This one has got a little motto. It says, difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. I do love, you know, a quote. So, you know, that's quite nice, I think. So we could have that kind of on this page facing this piece here. And I'm just wondering what we're going to have kind of on there as the embellishment pieces. So let's have a look. Now this here is a bit like my button embellishments, but it's a stamped image on there with some lace. So I've stitched the lace on with the sewing machine, and then I've just glued on the stamped image. So I mean, we could have something like that on there, which I think is quite nice. But we also do have obviously all these billions of you know, pieces that we've fussy cut out, so we will use one of those, I think, instead. So obviously we've got this little rosebud here. We've got some butterflies, which we could just have a butterfly kind of up here in the corner. I haven't inked these two up, so I will do that in a minute. I haven't forgotten. And then obviously I always like to have a bit of lace. So what we could do is actually staple the lace on, just like we did on one of the other pieces. So I'm just going to grab my small stapler. Got my bag beside me with all my bits and bobs in. So now, like the last one, don't want to make these too bulky. I mean, obviously, if you were doing anything like this, you could always, you know, stitch it on. Obviously, I'm not doing that because I'm here at my son's desk and my sewing machine is not to hand. So, you know, but I mean, you could do that. I'm just going to cut it here. So it's got a bit of a kind of tail kind of hanging off. And it has at the top as well, but I will staple that so it's not moving constantly and flapping about. Like that. So, I mean, I think that looks really quite nice, to be honest. And then what I also brought along was I had picked up this book a few weeks ago, the Primer of Bookkeeping. It's one of the Pitman's, you know, the shorthand Pitman books. And it's got all sorts of examples, sorry, of the bookkeeping. So that was really what I got it for. But obviously I thought we could just use some of the book page to just pop to the back, which I always like doing. Or actually, I've just remembered, I had last time, you see, this is what I mean about, I can't really remember what we'd got to last time. I have also got some of the Master Builder's book that I like using, and this is obviously the beauty of this, is it is actually kind of in a yellow kind of shade, so I think actually we'll use this instead. Just can kind of pop it on like that, and it just makes it look a little bit more interesting. What I'm going to do, I will just trim off a little bit more because this is quite wide around there, like that. And then what I'll do, I will just ink, oh gosh, excuse me, sorry, very clumsy today. Right, we'll just ink this up slightly. I have to be very careful here with the ink because obviously this is just thin book page and it would really pick it up very dark, I think. So just like that, okay. And while we've got the ink, we'll just ink up the butterfly. And we'll ink up the little rose that we're going to use as well. Okay, so then what we can do, I quite liked that off at an angle, so we'll glue this down first. So I'm just going to literally, and this is from a vintage book, my Master Builder's book. If you've followed, you know, if you watch my channel and you've followed my series on the Mother Goose, the old Mother Goose album or journal, I used the book quite a bit in that, so that's where kind of that, you know, where I used it most. There we go. And then we can obviously have the little butterfly going off there, little rosebud. Just down there would look really quite pretty. So what I'll do, I'm just going to pop the butterfly on here. So I just like to glue butterflies just in the centre there, because then their wings are kind of flapping. So, you know, rather than glue him completely down, I like it kind of a little bit, it's a bit loose. And then what I think we'll do here is actually glue this with the hot glue, because obviously it's got those staples. So just so it's kind of, you know, grips nice and firm very quickly. Sorry, I now have hot glue all over me. Right, so we'll just glue that like that. So we just run it along and then pretty quickly press that down. I'll try and press it quite firmly so that it's not so bumpy. Like that. And then we can just pop this little rosebud just down there at the bottom. You know, or we could have it on here. It's quite nice either way, but I think we'll have it down here and then just like that. And I will just have a look and see if I have any other little rosebuds, teeny ones, that I could kind of have on that, you know, on the main piece itself. And just having a quick rummage through the pieces that I have actually cut out already. And there's lots of flowers and rosebuds in, you know, really varying sizes. So, you know, plenty to choose from. So we could have that kind of, we could have it here, like that. Just to add a bit of colour there. So again, these haven't been inked up, so I'm just going to quickly ink them up now. Okay. Out of the way, and then what we'll do, we'll just literally, we'll pop the leaf on first, and then we'll get the little rosebud. Just pop that on like that. It just adds a little bit of colour down there in that corner. So that's those 2 pages. So I'm just going to clear this down because I don't like it when the doily kind of, you know, when it creases up. So I'll just glue that like that. Okay, so that's another 2 pages done, which look really, really pretty. Now I'm just having a look. So we're up to 37 minutes. So I'm probably going to call that a day for today. It's just slightly longer, obviously, than our half-an-hour slots that we've been doing lately. But I just really was dying to get back into this journal. It was, you know, frustrating to have left it for such a long time, because it is then hard to pick back up and kind of remember where you've got to and, you know, what you were kind of doing. So I was keen to come and do it, and I'm really pleased that we've kind of made a bit of progress now. So hopefully, you know, I'm going to hopefully be able to pick it back up as a kind of more regular weekly slot now. You know, so yeah, hopefully kind of we'll be back on it. So thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day. I'll catch you next time. Thanks very much. Bye.